Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Ananda Rose, and today I have with me the lovely Lynn Drewett. How are you, Lynn?
I'm great. Thank you, Rose. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here again. I'm just loving it. Thank you.
No, well, you're very welcome, always. And friends, we are doing our Vite Bites segment today. It's the third one we're doing. And what are we talking about today, Lynn?
I thought we might do K2.
Aha, K2. What is K2?
So, K2 is something that's very important that you take with calcium. So,
Aha.
it's K2 you wouldn't take on your own.
Hmm.
You need to have the cofactors, especially the calcium, magnesium, and D3.
Okay. Right. What I want to do is I'm just gonna ask you to hold the thought because I think I might put the little PowerPoint presentation you gave me, the little screen slide, one slide we've got. I might put it up on the screen because I'm having all sorts of thoughts coming through there, and I'm just going to share the screen,
Okay.
and and then I will go. I will address it there. Okay, okay, friends. Right, here we are. K2. Can you see it, Lynn? Tell, yeah. Just tell me when you can.
Yes, can now.
Can, right. So, friends, I just want to say if you're joining us for the first time, the Vite Bites series, we started doing this not so long ago. It's just a little bit of a small segment about vitamins. Okay. And Lynn does this in her daily work and she advises people on how to support themselves with vitamins. I have to make a disclaimer. That just reminds me that I have to make a disclaimer as well about this. What we do here is we advise you, excuse me for the sound of my pages. I'm not very well organized today. Can you tell that, friends? Okay.
Mhm.
Right. Our disclaimer is this. Let's do the disclaimer. Lynn Drewett provides guidance on vitamin intake. However, she emphasizes that she is not a medical doctor. The information shared in this session is intended solely for informational purposes to encourage thoughtful consideration of options for supporting personal well being. This discussion does not replace professional medical or wellness advice. And so we strongly encourage you to consult with qualified healthcare professionals before making any changes to your health regime. Always consider past, present, and future medical guidance from licensed professionals. Okay? This is us giving you some additional advice on vitamins because Lynn, that is your expertise. And today, as Lynn was saying, we're talking about K2. So Lynn, can you refresh us again?
Mhm.
Why what
Sure.
is K2 and why we use it?
Okay, so K2 would be something that, as I was saying, you wouldn't take on its own. You would need to have cofactors like calcium, vitamin D3, or D from the sun, of course, and magnesium to create that perfect environment for bone density.
Okay.
So when you take K2, so K2 is relatively new to people's awareness. I think a lot of products just used to have K in it or K1, but now it's sourced from your soybeans, fermented soybeans, and they find that the K2 variety actually can create osteoblasts in your bone density, and it can do osteoclasts, which is taking away bone formations that shouldn't be there. So it works in a twofold way in the body, but
Mm.
for the full benefit of K2, you need to take those cofactors calcium, magnesium, D3, and your K2.
Okay. So what is the K in K2?
I don't know.
Okay. It's cool because I just sort of wondered what does it mean? Like, you know what I mean?
I know. It's just the vitamin letter. I know. I don't know actually. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you won't take it on its own because it actually enhances and supports what the other ones do that you might need, like vitamin D3, right? Because,
Correct.
so it supports that. It's sort of, maybe it's the all rounder, it balances everything out.
It does. Mm. Yeah,
Okay, so I'm looking at the screen and it says it helps bind calcium to the bones, improving
correct.
density, bone
Hmm.
density.
So I've just explained that.
Hmm.
So with your osteoblasts, um, if someone's got weak bones, definitely, get yourself on a type of calcium. Don't go calcium carbonate, please. We'll do a little Vite Bite on that to educate people not to go into calcium carbonate. But any other type of calcium is okay. So they just work in synergy together to create that atmosphere in the body to create dense bones. It's very
Mm,
good.
mm, mm. Yeah, I'm looking at this and and I've been taking K2 and I think that's really good that it helps control inflammation in the body, because inflammation at the moment is a big thing for many people. And I mean, we've got so
Mm.
many factors contributing to inflammation. We won't go into all the factors, but
Yeah.
it's the diet, it's the stress, it's the I don't know, the heat or the environment that we are in currently, because the weather is unusual as well, right?
Yes. Well,
Um,
it's mainly the diet that creates, and medication,
yeah.
alcohol, those kinds of things that create inflammation in the body. But with the K2, it actually is an antioxidant. So that's how it helps with that inflammation, especially in the brain.
Hmm.
They've done a lot of research on that, and it does reduce inflammation in the brain.
Okay, wow.
Mm.
That's good. That's really good. Then who would take K2? Like, well, when I say this, like, I mean, obviously everybody can take K2, but
Mm.
who do you find is necessary, or is there this thing where people in such certain, for example, age groups or the one of the genders that seem to need it more? When do and if so, like, when do you think we need that more?
Okay, couple of answers to that. First of all, if you're not consuming enough calcium in the body from your diet, if you're lactose intolerant and you need to tally up the amount of calcium you're taking, for one. And then, secondly, people that have been gone to the doctors and they've been diagnosed with osteoporosis or some kind of arthritis or bone weakening would take K2 with your calcium. So K2 needs to be taken with calcium and those cofactors I mentioned for it to do a magnificent job on your bones. And usually after about 6 months, it doesn't take that long because our bones are regenerating all the time, and providing the person is little bit mindful about the acid foods that you're eating, and you're mindful about eating healthy, it should usually take about 6 months to
Mm.
turn your bones around. Mm.
Wow. Okay, that's good. That's quicker time than I thought. And
Mm.
I guess it's for
Mm.
anybody who might be experiencing symptoms of inflammation, osteoarthritis,
Yes.
any of those things. And
Yes, anything to do with the bones where it's porous or there's weakness, which all of those diseases these days are created by a diet that's too acidic.
yeah,
The acid just, fries the bones over time.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Wow. So, do we still need the screen, the slide, or can we stop
Oh,
sharing?
you can leave it there, please,
Okay,
Rose.
that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
so people can have a look at that. The other
Good.
thing I wanted to mention, Rose, that if you're thinking about adding K2 and those cofactors, and if you're on any type of warfarin or aspirin, Not that aspirin has any effect too much on K2, but it's always it's best to check with your health professional as
Okay.
to the amount you can take with that. Normally, it's quite safe,
Yeah.
but depending on the dose with the warfarin is whether it would interfere or not.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, especially that it's a blood thinner, and
Mm,
it's important for people to understand that. And as we said, we are encouraging people. I'll put it this way. We are encouraging people to, if you're thinking about changing something in your regime of your vitamins, talk to your doctor. If you're on medicine,
mm.
medication, or any kind of treatment. Um, what about pregnant women? Like what would you say to someone who's pregnant?
Someone who's pregnant who's started off on K2 before pregnancy is quite safe.
Okay.
Probably, maybe as a caution, the first 3 months, maybe your baby doctor would advise not to take it. Um, and the reason why they say that is there's just not enough evidence or research to say to take it or not. But,
Okay.
once again, you'd need to go on the advice of what your doctor says. If you've got weak bones and you're not drinking much milk or having calcium products like yogurt and that type of thing, that's what they would need to have a look at as well. So, yeah, that's quite a complex question. But I think it would be mainly up to the baby doctor to advise you whether that's a yes or a no.
And I'm finding that some things are a lot of things are quite individualistic, including vitamins, right? You can't just say
Yes,
one size fits all, or
correct.
what you can say
Yes,
one person is the same for another, whether they're pregnant or they're not. You know, um, Even pregnant women all together, you can't put them all in the same room and say all of you don't take it, because everyone's got
correct.
their own situation.
Yeah.
Hmm. So,
And if I could just say too, Rose, before, and then you can take the slide down, as the audience can see the type of foods that are rich in K2. And if you consume, a lot of those foods, if you can possibly get between 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams on a daily basis, I mean, that's probably eating a lot of those things to get that amount.
yeah.
And of course, people say to me, well, what's the difference between K1 and there's K1 and K2? There's different types of K. But originally, K1 was put in with a lot of the calcium supplements as the cofactor, but now they're finding that K2 is far more effective and it's used in probably pretty much in all products now, K2.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. And just looking at that, the food sources: chicken liver, beef liver, eggs, and hard cheeses.
Hmm.
Yeah. I guess there's options. I would not be so keen on the chicken liver and the beef liver. But again,
Neither would I.
eggs and cheese, I guess, and hard cheeses. And I do eat hard cheeses more than I
Hmm.
eat soft cheeses. Yeah, and I'm not so crazy about eggs, but I do eat it now because, my diet's changed. So I think, yeah, just
Hmm.
about that. So simple things that you can do to eat this. Then I have it's not such a weird question. If we ate these products, would we need to still take the supplements, like the K2 supplement?
No, no. If you're eating that consistently with your calcium intake, whether that's supplement or whether it's through your food source,
Mm.
and you're taking vitamin D3 and magnesium, and usually the magnesium has to be topped up because we just don't get enough magnesium in the body.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, you could not have the supplement if you're doing that.
Mm. Okay. All right. But there is that you need to still be taking the vitamin D3 and the calcium, and what do I say? Calcium and
And
uh and the magnesium.
mm,
And,
yes,
and
yeah,
this
for strong bones to stop, to keep our bones strong, good density, you need all of those four factors to create that environment in the body. And
Yes.
that's why, osteoporosis, softening of the bones, and all this type of osteoarthritis is just, it's through the roof because people, I mean, they're aware of calcium, but they're not aware of the other factors that go all together. So
Mm.
if you're going to go down this road and introduce this to your system every day, and you know that your bone density is weak, and you know that you don't have enough calcium in your eating regime, then these four things you would need to do together.
Okay. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Shall we stop sharing the screen and come back?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, there you go, friends. So, Lynn, is there anything else? I know it was a small one, but is there anything else that you think we need to talk about with regards to K2 um, before we say goodbye to everyone?
I think I've pretty well much covered that, Rose. Thank you. All the important parts were all spoken about. Um, of course, for me, if you're going to take a type of magnesium, your glycisinate form is the best form. But if that's not readily available for you, any of the other forms are all good except for your magnesium oxide. Kind of stay away from that if you can. It
Okay.
doesn't absorb very well. So yeah, magnesium glycinate is the best form.
Mm,
That's
great. Thank you for that.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much for doing this with me. I love it. I like that we're going to do this. I'm looking forward to what it's going to culminate into. And so thank you. And yeah, looking forward to the next one. I'll let you say goodbye to everybody before I do.
Thank you so much, Rose, and thank you to everyone who's watching. And stay tuned for our next Vite Bite.
Bye,
Bye. Love you all.
everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Bye bye.